I see there's some football news going down, but we're going to talk hockey right now. Ryan Leslie joins us from Sportsnet Flames on the heels of a regulation loss at home for the Flames against the San Jose Sharks. G'day, Ryan. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Roddy. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Good. Can I jump in on the Blue Jays thing? You being the pride of Owen Sound, Ontario, and you being employed by Sportsnet, you must be more than a casual observer of the Blue Jays, I would think.
You know what? I was fortunate enough, Roddy, to cover a couple of Blue Jays series, once in Minnesota and once in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. So I keep an eye on it. It's hard right now to kind of dig in at this point, but certainly that was a great experience. A couple of really neat opportunities to cover that team up close and personal.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, fun times for your show. By the way, love the hoodie. As we say in Sask, the bunny hug. Thank you, man. Looks great.
It's the least I could do. I saw the ad, and I had to run and put it on. It was important to... I mean, I understand it's very official. It's like what you guys wear on the show, so I had to join it.
Absolutely. Ryan, we're running a poll today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Who's the Western Conference favorite? And running away with it is the Calgary Flames, way out in front of Colorado, way out in front of Minnesota, who made the big move the other day. Calgary is running away with it, man. How are you feeling about this team's chances, despite home losses here to Buffalo and San Jose in the last week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily read too much into those two losses. Last night was a troubling one from a standpoint of you just saw a very rare off night for the goaltender. Very rare. He had the gaff against Buffalo as well. But he has been just absolutely sensational. His numbers at home in the last 16, 17, I think he's like 14-0-2 coming into last night at home. So, you know what? It's an everyday league, and sometimes it catches up to you, and there's still another team on the other side. But San Jose has beaten them now 3 times. So it doesn't surprise me about that poll that you talked about. It's a good hockey team. It's very thorough. I know a lot of insiders, experts, hockey followers feel strongly about the way that Calgary is built from the net out. So, yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. It's a really good hockey team with a lot of good momentum of late that just kind of picks up and rolls. Fatigue isn't an issue right now. Touch wood, they've been very healthy. So, they'll kind of continue to find their way. The thing is I think everybody's already in playoff mode in terms of us on the outside. We're all ready for this thing to start. The polls are happening. The conversation is heating up. The trade deadline is passed. So let's get going on the playoffs, but there's still a lot of hockey to be played. There's over a month and change to go. So, Calgary's got a big division matchup. So the big thing for me, I think, is can the fan base wait in all of these markets where their teams are good, and can the team continue to play at a high clip? Because you still want them playing meaningful games, don't you, Rod? Like we saw in Calgary a few years ago, Calgary had to kind of play almost a month of meaningless hockey. They were in and they were rolling, and it really hurt them. So while you don't like to see the losses, you don't expect to run the table, and you certainly want them playing meaningful hockey down the stretch. So it's that really weird balance where you just kind of hope whatever team you're rooting for is very much in the hunt, very much not peaking too soon, and playing the way you like most nights coming down the stretch.
You know what? The only benefit to that, Ryan, would be to get rest if you can and get healthy, because what I heard just before I was leaving Calgary from some of the guests on this show and from the Flames themselves is that fatigue word. You said it's not a factor, and I'm not in the Zooms. You are, the news conferences. You're talking to the players and the coaches. Like, for instance, the loss in Colorado, I was told to not put much stock in it, but it was our 5th game in 7 nights. Fatigue's a factor, and there are those that are saying they're burning out the guys that they have. Where are you on that notion?
Well, I think burnout can happen very short term. 5 and 7 is a lot of hockey, and that was a turnaround, a back-to-back scenario. You travel, you get home so late, so certainly you're going to be tired, but to suggest that these pro athletes can't recover would be absurd. So over the course, and talking to even Kirk Muller yesterday, having 2 games in between days feels like an eternity. So rest won't be an issue. And they are relatively healthy. Keep that going. But no, like in the big picture, fatigue isn't an issue. And certainly you're tired after games too. And so you're going to be tired after 5 and 7. But in the big picture, as the schedule starts to balance out. You're now home for 5 more now after tonight, and then you get ready to go down the West Coast. So, yeah, I feel confident in some of the conversations I've had with these guys that it'll be okay. Like as far as the schedule, they're okay.
The viewers love you because you're lovable. Yeah, Wayne in Victoria, BC. I always enjoy Ryan's take on the NHL happenings. Great guest as usual. What is the hat you're wearing?
Oh, that's from Obi Clark's in St. Louis, one of the great establishments in that fine city.
Ryan on YouTube says, Ryan Leslie, always a great interview and twice as nice in an RP show hoodie/bunny hug. So, yeah, that's from some of the viewers. Let's continue the fun. I'm looking at all the fun that's going around on the Daryl Sutter quotes. You saw Spit and Chicklets got in the other day about Daryl talking about stitching up horses and cows. How often are you interviewing Daryl one-on-one, or are you in a pool of reporters in those Zooms?
Yeah, I'm just in the room like anybody else. Just with the COVID protocol that's been there for a while, and we were with the team in November for that 2-week trip out east. I was there in Seattle as well, and we'll be back later in April. But in terms of one-on-one, Daryl keeps it pretty tight, keeps it locked down. But no, I don't have to deal with him on an exclusive basis at any point. So that's probably the way he likes it. So we'll go with it.
Yeah, but I think if you did, you'd be fine. I'm just wondering, do those reporters get anxiety going into a news conference with Daryl Sutter? Because you really never know what's going to set them off. That's the sense that I get. And everybody's loving it, by the way. And I'm like, the fans, I'm like, yeah, but if you were asking him questions, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just kind of sit back and observe, to be honest, because I don't, you can get the great little clip or snippet or soundbite for social media that's funny and stuff, but you don't really, and you'll get stuff that way for using it in the broadcast, and every now and then he'll give you a nugget or two. But in terms of, going down the road to try to have a good exchange back and forth, I'm not interested in playing that game, so I don't. Yeah, but there is a lot there to dig into and laugh at. But yeah, as far as the other reporters and those who have to kind of, ask them questions, and whether or not they're good or whether or not they're bad or whether or not the soundbite makes you look bad, all that, he knows exactly what he's doing. It's very calculated. It's not new. He's been that way at every stop. So if you wanna jump in that sandbox, go ahead.
Hey, believe me, I get it. But Brian, as you know, I'm watching every game, so I saw you put them up against Woodcroft for the time of their answers. I'm not missing a thing, man. So you guys are doing a good job with that. Hey, thanks, buddy. Listen, enjoy the ride. We'll see you next month when we're back in Calgary. Thanks for wearing the hoodie, and I appreciate the time as always.
Wait a minute. I got out of bed for this? That's it? That's all?
Yes. Yes, you did. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Look at that. The old Clint Eastwood of Alberta. The Hurtin' Albertan. Ryan Leslie joining us from Cowtown. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.